in Janakos. Janakos. Yeah, but that's how I said it, because I never met my dad. Gianakos was when I was born, but in Japan, if I spelled it Gianakos, the people in Japan call me Gianakos, and I don't want to be called Gianakos. So I always tell them it's Janakos, like Japan, so I put J-A like Japan. Janakos, like Japan. Yeah, don't knock us until you try us. That's how I say. I don't. No, I'm on a supposedly the fastest in northern Japan internet. Oh, I just closed one page. May. Okay. Okay, maybe we're gonna have to put our running shoes on. But I uh, I was studying natural health ever since I was about probably 18 or so. I started working out at health clubs when I was 17, and I started selling memberships at health clubs. Was Family Fitness Center in California. Looking good, feeling great, family fitness, get your body in shape. And that was back in the 90s. And being in sales and health clubs, I was approached by every single natural healing modality out there. I started selling for Voxa, for New Skin, for all these different multi-level marketing companies, all these wonderful products that you're supposed to. You take one drink of them, you can talk backwards in 4 languages, and you can do backflips and somersaults, and all this stuff. But I never actually. I did vegan for about 3 or 4 years. I did everything natural. I was into herbs and everything else. But then all of a sudden, I don't know when it was. I think it was about in 1999. I was bending down, shopping at. It was like, what was it called? Like Kmart or something. But anyway, I was bending down, and I couldn't get back up. I felt this like pinch in my back, and I'm like, ah. And I couldn't get up, so I had to like push myself out of the store in a shopping cart. And for the next 3 days, I was laying in bed. I could barely roll out of bed. And that was right after I had broken up with my longest relationship at the time, which was a 1-year relationship. And now I realize most of the things that cause problems in the body are trapped emotions, which are part of the emotion code, which is part of the body code, which we'll get into later. And the funny thing is the shopping center that I was at, where I pulled my back out, was about a block away from the founder of the body code and the emotion code, which is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He had an office in Aliso Viejo. No, actually not Aliso Viejo. Aliso Viejo is where I was working at the time. He had an office in Laguna Niguel, which is right next to Aliso Viejo. And I was living in the canyons near there. And I could have went to his office and learned all about his healing, and I probably would have got better. But instead, for 5 years, I didn't know he was there. I suffered, and I kept getting worse back problems. I went to chiropractors. It helped a little. I went to, in Japan we call Hariku, which in America it's called acupuncture. And that helped a little too. I tried every I did all kinds of Reiki stuff. I did just everything I could get my hands on. And then one day I went to a lady who put her hands on me, above me, like a little bit above my whole body, and I was laying down, and I could feel wherever she moved her hands on my body, even though she wasn't touching me. And that night when I got home, I had the worst pain I've ever had in my life. But the next morning I woke up, I didn't have any pain in my back for about 6 months. Which, when I went to the chiropractors, it would be about a month. I would get my back adjusted, and for a month I felt great, and then a month later it would go back to the same thing as before. So it cost me. I went two or 3 years to the chiropractor, and it cost me about $40 every visit. So I probably spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars at the chiropractor. Which I love chiropractors, because actually Dr. Bradley Nelson was a chiropractor and a craniopath, which works on brain muscles and brain or head bones. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me go sign back on Skype, because I closed Skype to try to make it faster. So hold on one second. Okay, where's my Skype?
Better deal here.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Let's go to change settings. Hello. Okay, that's working. We're gonna go to not headphone. Can you hear me better now? You can hear. Okay, so I'm going to pick up where I left off. Okay, so my back was better with energy healing. The problem with the energy healer in Japan is she spoke no English, and I barely speak any Japanese, so I couldn't learn from her. So I've been Buddhist all my life. I started chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. I have to figure out how to do energy healing, because that's the only thing that really, for 6 months, I felt really good. So I went to America to see my family, and I had a case of almost dying of choking on the first bit of bread and turkey dinner I had. I think it was on Christmas Eve, and I didn't have insurance, and I didn't have all my relatives were getting drunk. It was Christmas Eve, and I didn't want to go to a doctor on Christmas Eve, so I all night almost threw up. I was throwing up, and I was choking on this meat that I tried to swallow. And so my little brother the next morning says, well, I got a healing modality I want to teach you about. So he gave me all the information about body code and emotion code. And at the time, I went to America by myself because my wife was pregnant, and we had bought tickets for the both of us to go, but my wife couldn't come because she just found out she was pregnant, and this was our second attempt to have a child, and the first child we lost. So the first thing I actually started working on is my wife, because I didn't want her to have morning sickness anymore, because she was having really debilitating morning sickness. So I started working on her morning sickness, and every time I worked on it, the morning sickness went away right away. And then it would come back a week later or so, and then it would go away right away. So I learned right away that morning sickness was the easiest thing to overcome. And then I started working on my back, and I had all these other medical problems. I had polyps in my nasal cavities, which I still can't smell yet. I'm still working on that. But at least I can breathe. I had a stuffed nose all the time since I was a little kid. And I also had itchy skin problems. I had rashes. I would have to wash my sheets. Any hotel I went to, I'd have to bring my own sheets because it would make me itch like crazy all night. I couldn't wear any clothes with tags on the back, like little tag here. It would make my back break out. I had all kinds of problems. So it took me about a year or two to completely get rid of all the issues that I had with my back and with my skin and I had other problems I don't want to talk about. And so I told the universe, as I was chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, overcoming my problems, I told the universe, if I can overcome all these problems, I'm going to help everyone. So as soon as I got rid of all my problems, I started my own radio program, and I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years now. And on the back wall here, you can see there's a certification of the emotion code. I got certified in the emotion code. I decided not to get certified in any other healing modality after that because I learned them all so quickly that I don't really like to follow rules, and I like to add in all of them mixed together, which anytime you do one healing modality, they all think it's the best healing modality in the world and you shouldn't add any other healing modality in it. But I found that every healing modality that I've learned, I've found a way to use the other healing modality that I learned along with it. So that's what I do. That's a nutshell. Okay, I can't hear anybody. Maybe I need to put my headset back on. Let me try that, because I took off my headset because I was hearing differently. Let me do the headset again. Okay. Can I hear you? No. We can hear Tim, not Chris. Cool. It's my solo call. So while she's over there kicking it in her living room, I'm just going to say that I put a link up there that I'm in a contest, and I'm going to win a record deal if I win the contest, and I'm going to win $25,000 and a whole truck full of musical equipment. So I'm going to post it again because it was up there, and I'm going to post it one more time. So if all you guys can go to this link, I'm taking over the call. This is what happens when I get on a radio show. I take over the call. But hopefully we're going to figure out how to get the host back in here. But in the meantime, oh, that's how we're going to do it. Okay.
Welcome to our tour talk. Welcome. Please dial 11 to speak to the host.
Okay, hang on. We're going to go back on air in a second here.
Okay.
All right, we're back. It was the only way for me to get, and nobody's taking over my show while I'm here. You know what I mean? And so, anyway, yeah, we were doing way better at the very beginning. See, if the first thing you try works, leave it the hell alone. You know what I mean? So when you first called in by Skype, we heard you perfectly well, and then you decided to switch over to the browser, which gave us chopped up sound, and then adding you onto my call knocked my sound out. So anyway, we're back now, and everybody has sound. So and the music should play properly too. So there we go. So thank you for that very lengthy answer, and I'm glad that you kept it going for us there, Tim. And so you started to get into healing yourself, and you do your own radio show, and you're doing. So what if you just like try and describe for people who don't know. I've had the other guests who have wanted to come on and talk about the emotion code and things like this. Most of us have heard about quantum touch, but not everybody knows what that is. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, everybody knows what Reiki is and how that works. So tell us a little bit about the body code and the emotion code, and then we'll move on to some of the other modalities that you work with. Tell us how those work.
Okay. So I'm going to try to mix body code and access consciousness together because it kind of works similarly. Access consciousness believes that if anything's true for you, you will feel light. If anything is not true or false for you, you will feel heavy. In the body code, we say if it's true, yes, 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 you have a strong muscle test. That's strong. It won't go down. I push it. I'm just touching it barely. My finger's not going to go down. If I say no, it just falls down. I don't even have to try. So basically, the answer to any problem is going to be found out with a yes or no question. So if you want to know if this girl's lost and if she's drowned in the ocean, you can say, do I have a strong connection with this girl? Is she okay? So I ask she's okay. What that means, I don't know. I can ask more questions. I don't know if she's drowned in a river or whatever. But the thing is, all of our bodies are connected energetically to everything around us. This computer in front of me is energetically connected to me. The bed, the chair I'm sitting on. If my butt starts feeling a little heavy and hurting, I usually ask the chair, can you please get more comfortable for me? And I ask the molecules of my rear end to get a little softer. And somehow the consciousness of everything will work together in communion with everything. So the body code, emotion code, and all the other healing modalities is about finding communion, which is a little bit different than a relationship, because relationship means the distance between two things, and a communion means coming together as one. And in Buddhism we call it funi, which means not two. So Esho Funi means the oneness of life and its environment. Shiki Shin Funi means the oneness of mind and body. There's a whole bunch of funis in Buddhism, but anyway, funi means not.
A whole bunch of phonies in the psychic business too. I mean phonies.
Yeah, there's a lot of phonies too. So the cool thing is, no one can lie to you if you learn how to do muscle testing, or no one can lie to you if you know something feels heavy to you. If you don't know how to muscle test, if something feels heavy to you, it's probably not true for you. Whether it's true for someone else, it might not be true for you. For example, if someone says to one person, getting married means happiness, that might be true for one person, but that for someone like me who's been married twice, it might not be true.
Jesus, man, you didn't learn the first time? What the hell's wrong with you?
No, I was trying to follow my whole family. Actually, my dad's been married 3 times, but my mom married twice. My older brother married twice. The second one was always somewhat better, but with my brother, it's much better. My dad, he's a little crazy, so his third one's not even good, and they were all bad. But anyway.
I always go like this. I had a friend tell me one time, I've been married 3 times, I've been divorced 3 times, and I go, and it's always them, right?
Yep.
It's always them.
It's always them. The funny thing is, when you divorce one person, you always somehow find the same exact person or somewhat similar person. No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked before about muscle testing, and you've heard of tapping.
Yeah, I do tapping too.
Muscle
Yeah.
testing. Those things don't work for me.
Okay.
At all. I've done the muscle testing as many different ways. Then there's the kind where you ask the question, and like if you go like if it's a yes answer, I'm gonna like lean forward a little bit. If it's a no answer, I'm gonna lean back a little bit, and it doesn't work with me. It just doesn't work with me, unfortunately.
Okay. So can I do a clearing on you and everyone on the call who might have that
Sure.
right now? Okay. So
Sure.
everywhere you decided you don't work, and everyone who implanted or explanted the belief that you don't work or your way of working doesn't work in this reality, would you be willing to rescind, recant, renounce, destroy, and uncreate everything that is and everything that brings up times a Buddha zillion?
Sure.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all 9, pod and pog, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, I just said some weird stuff, but don't worry about what I say because your subconscious mind knows everything. But if you are interested, on my YouTube videos, which I have my YouTube video up there somewhere, you can see the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement is a long, short speak phraseology that taps deep into your subconscious mind and lets go of all the stuff that's holding you back from who you truly be. So the coolest thing is everything that happens with you, like me in marriage, is all basically an energetic memory in your body that is trying to prove you right, your point of view right, your beliefs right, your projections from your parents right, because if your parents got in a divorce and they had a bad relationship, they projected onto you that that's your reality too. So you have to live up to their reality. And if you buy into that, which you have no choice usually because you don't know, you can rescind and recant and renounce, destroy, and uncreate anything you bought into in this reality in the past, and you can get rid of it. So that's what Access Consciousness does, is it uses verbal processing to go into the subconscious mind and clear out all the ways you said to yourself, I can't do it, I don't do it, my mom said I can't do it, it doesn't work for me. So everywhere in your life that things don't work for you, like when we got on the call, the radio didn't work, the voice didn't work, all that stuff, all that is basically a projection of your programming, my programming, all the listeners' programming. So if we have a lot of people on the call who think, I'm going to call into the show, Tim's not going to be able to do anything for me because no one ever did anything for me right, because nothing ever works for me, I've tried them all, I've done them all, and that's basically going to stop you from opening up to the infiniteness you truly be, which I'm a facilitator of infiniteness. And if you're willing to open up the infiniteness you truly be, then the only one that can stop you from creating a reality that's better than the reality you have is yourself. I can only open the doorway and allow you to walk through the doorway, but you have to be the one who doesn't stop yourself. So most people stop themselves. So in a relationship all my life, I thought every girl's going to cheat on me. That was just my basic belief. It was my point of view. I don't know where I got that from. I think it was probably from my mom, because my dad did sleep around all the time when I was a baby, and I didn't even know that, because I was 2 years old. So I don't know where I got that belief. Maybe my mom believed that he was sleeping around or whatever. So I believed that every relationship, the girl was going to cheat on me. So I became a fanatical freak, following them. If they didn't call me every 5 hours, I thought they were sleeping with someone. I just had this just crazy fear. So I actually hired my wife, my last wife, to have an affair, which was the first person I've ever been in a relationship who had an affair on me that I know of. Although I thought everyone I've ever been with before had an affair on me. I just knew it, even though they probably never did. So she had an affair, and I knew it. I knew it was happening, and I'd never confronted her on it. But one day she said, "I want a divorce," and it was about the 17th time we've gone through a divorce with each other. And I said, "Okay, go home." And she's like, "What?" Because all the other times she asked for a divorce, I would try to work it out. But I said, "No, just go home." I said, "Well, we'll spend a month apart, and after the month, if it works out, we'll get a divorce." So we did it. We spent a month apart. Every day she would come back and she would wash my dishes. I go, "Go home. You don't have to wash my dishes. I don't need anyone to wash my dishes. I can wash my own dishes." She would anyway, she was trying to take care of me. But anyway, I said, "I don't need your care. I can take care of myself. I'm a big boy." And go home. And 1 year later, I actually had someone read the letter that was in Japanese that I found that was talking about the affair she was having. But anyway, that was me basically projecting what I believe I had as a point of view, that everyone was going to cheat on me. So my wife wanted to leave me for many years because I have a music dream, and she just didn't understand that. Because Japanese people think you have to be in a box. You have to go to work from 9 in the morning to 9 at night, 6 days a week. You have Sunday off. You go drinking with your boss on Saturday night. You go to onsens or places golfing with your boss on Sundays. So you have no time with your family, no time for having a life. You just work. It's called workaholicness. That's Japan's culture. So she wanted me to have a life like that, but I'm not a Japanese. I can't have a life like that. I'm a singer-songwriter. I do all these other things. I do all these crazy things. She was always like, "Why are you doing all these crazy things? Why don't you just work every day like everyone else?" Yeah. So I needed to have her have an affair to actually finally get the courage to leave. Which is basically what I told her for 4 years. I told her, the only way I'm ever going to really leave you is if you ever fool around with someone. So I planted that in her head, and finally she did. So it was really cool. It worked.
What led you to move to Japan in the first place?
I went to Soka University of America in Aliso Viejo, Orange County. I was the first graduating class, and they require you to take either Spanish, or at the time they required you Spanish, Chinese, or Japanese. I tried Spanish, I failed. I tried Japanese, I failed. It was too late, I couldn't take Chinese. And they sent me, whether I liked it or not, to study in Japan, and I fell in love with Japanese girls. I never wanted to come home.
All right. So now I'm getting feedback all of a sudden. I'm hearing myself back.
We call this a Mobius strip. So all the Mobius strips of this reality that are holding in the old reality of things that don't work for you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all those Mobius strips?
Absolutely.
And all the feedback loops holding them in place?
Sure.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and poc, shorts, boys and beyond. I do have a. Sometimes when I come on the program and I start doing the clearings, everything starts shutting down. So if your lights go dim and things like that, it happens. So don't be freaked out or anything like that. And if the lightning, it's daytime here. If the lightning, it looks like it's going to be a thunderstorm coming. If it starts going and flashing, it's not Count Dracula. I love to count.
All right. Kathleen in the chat room has a great question.
Okay.
Which is we talk a lot here about direct communication with people, and not what I mean, having to set things up in the way that you did, for example, you know what I mean? So that we either change our behavior to make ourselves, if we want to break up with someone, you know, we start behaving in a way that we know that they won't put up with for too long, or rather than just having the discussion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she's, what does that do to one's wellness? You know what I mean? When would you agree or not agree that, like, a frank, forward, of course there's a cultural issue there that I can't be sure of too, but we talk about speaking our truth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so how that generally is a good thing for our wellness. And so what have you got regarding that?
Yeah, well, with me in Japan, there is a problem because my wife doesn't speak English and I don't speak Japanese, and my last wife didn't speak English and I don't speak Japanese. So they say that 30% of all communication is not verbal, or as it said, 30% is verbal and 70% is not verbal. So I've been getting really good at the nonverbal communication because that's the only thing I know how to do. But it is really difficult if you're ever going to have a relationship with someone who doesn't speak your language. So my wife is going for the next 2 months to Hawaii, hopefully to learn English without me, and my daughter's going to take summer school to hopefully learn English too. But yes, communication is very important, and speaking your truth. But a lot of people don't know what truth is because we lie to ourselves more than we lie to other people. So every time you say, I can't do something, you're lying to yourself. Every time you say that I don't have the strength to overcome this, you're lying to yourself. Every time you say I'm a weak, pathetic piece of shit because, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on your radio show, but I just said it. Every time you make excuses for you not being the infinite being you truly be, you're lying to yourself. So many people want to speak their truth, but they don't even know who they are. And
So when you say that you can't speak Japanese, how long have you been living there, Tim?
今12年間住んでいました。だからでもすごい難しいだよ。I can speak simple Japanese, but to speak to my wife about what her OCD is and what creates OCD and why I don't have to wash my hands every 5 seconds before I give her a hug or before I touch my daughter, it's kind of hard to explain those deep things. And most of the stuff I want to talk about my wife and to my daughter are so deep that even in English, most people would be like, what you talking about? So it's very difficult. But the good thing is with the daughter, my daughter learns everything like most kids learn from watching. My wife can tell her all the things she wants her to do, and my wife's a control freak. So she loves to tell everyone what to do. Do this, do this, do this, do this. But kids don't learn from telling. They only learn from watching. So all my daughter learns how to do is yell at me and yell at other people because my wife loves to yell. So, and I understand she's really frustrated because she has to talk to a guy who doesn't speak Japanese, and it's really difficult. So it's the only way she can get her point across sometimes is screaming her head off. Because after about 5 screams, I'm like, okay, I'll try to figure out the sign language you're trying to tell me, and you know. But anyway, that's a long story. So yeah, communication. But the most important thing is communication with yourself. Who are you as a being? And that's what I'm starting to figure out with the energy healing. I've been studying Buddhism all my life. I've been practicing Buddhism all my life. But I actually didn't know who I was until about 5 years ago. And I'm starting to find out more about who I truly be, which is beyond anything I could have imagined I was. And the deeper I get into the rabbit hole, the more I realize I've been lying to myself for however many years I've been alive, which actually, if I say my age, it's a lie, because your body is a median age of between 3 to 5, most people. Their skin cells are about a day old, their stomach lining is about 5 hours old. Their brain is the only thing that's about 6 or 7 years old. The heart is about 5 years old. So if I were to say my age, which people say, what's your age? I say I don't know, because there's no way to really know my age, because I am a Buddha-zillion light years consciousness manifesting in this body, which I took from another little kid in Orange County back in the 70s. And because he didn't want to live in the family that he was living in, and I stopped him from getting run over by a truck, and I took his place. But anyway, that's a whole long story. I'm a walk-in, which I just found out recently. I'm a walk-in. So, and that might be a way to go into a deeper understanding of who we all are. Have you ever talked about walk-ins on this show?
Yeah, I've talked about walk-ins.
Okay.
I believe that there are walk-ins. I just think that my problem with it is that these days, there's, like, I think that it's a very unique and not so common thing. And too many, everybody's a psychic, everybody's this, everybody's a walk-in, everybody's, you know. And I'm not saying you're not or anything else like that, but to me, special certain circumstances need to kind of exist for, I don't think it's it's going to be a walk-in now, like I really feel that it's a very rare, more rare than not. And I hear too many people coming out now, they're a walk-in, they're this. I had one that's like an angel walk. They're not a human being walk-in, they're not like a human being walk-in, they're an angel walk-in. So that there was a swap with an angel came in instead of a human soul. And I'm all like, oh my God, And nothing is impossible. You know what I mean? But
well, I'm a lesbian in a man's body. Can we talk about that?
We'll call you Donald II. I was going to say it looks like a lesbian shirt that you're wearing there. You know what I mean? And
my older brother would say it's very gay.
We have a guy. This old guy, Donald Black Fox. He's the CEO of Spirit Wind Records, and he wears one of these red checkered, sort of. Not quite like one of those plaid jackets that hunters would wear, you know what I mean? And so we call that the lesbian shirt, and so we always joke about the lesbian shirt here on the show. And so there you go. Sounds like you're related to Donald spiritually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anyway, okay, we get off track easily around here. So no, and I generally agree with the notion that our thoughts definitely get in our belief system, can interfere with things, and I like the idea of trying to undo some of that very deep programming that we don't even always know how that got there, but it's there. But to me, it can't undo everything. Now that's a limitation I'm placing on that, I agree. But let's say that I get my leg amputated, you know what I mean? I don't believe that can be undone. And now I may be able to heal and get on and still become and not be disabled and be fully abled, but my leg is still amputated, you know what I mean? And so I'm not going to ever in this lifetime grow that leg back, What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. I have crooked teeth down here. I had braces back in high school, but my parents had to declare bankruptcy, so they had to get the braces off early, so they went crooked again. But they were really, really crooked when I was a little kid. They were turned around and sideways. So, I keep asking if I can do healing on making my teeth go straight, and my body keeps saying yes, so I keep slowly doing healing. So if someday my teeth go straight without getting braces again, then I might be able to work on amputated legs too. But
right. No, and there are some things that I feel health-wise that we can undo and do.
Yeah.
But I just say that there's just because there's people in this healing community or spiritual community who they're all like, oh well, nothing's impossible. I'm like, well, there are really some things that are impossible, I think, but I do talk about the scientists have us believe, if we understand that the difference between solid, liquid and gas is the speed at which those molecules are moving in that object or that thing, then there is if we can come up with a way to change the speed with which our own molecules vibrate within our bodies, then we would be able to vaporize, rematerialize, walk through a wall, or we change the speed with which the molecules in the wall are vibrating, and then we can make the wall sort of like vapor and we can walk through it that way. So, you know, I do agree that there's some things that, you know, we get limited because science told us you couldn't or you can't or whatever. You know, but and I always agree that positive thinking and if you can recognize programming that's harmful or limiting self-beliefs and things like that, that, you know, you're better off, your overall wellness will improve. So now you work with, let's get back onto the direct healing stuff. Like, so you're using things like muscle testing to help find out what's wrong with somebody, right?
Yes.
And then you have to move into what can we do to help heal that, right?
Yes.
And so where do we move to from the body code or the emotion code to actually get to the healing part of it?
Okay, luckily 80 to 90% of all the things on the healing anyone's problems is emotion. So the emotion code, the good thing about the emotion code is he designed the book that if it floated up on an island and it wasn't, you can still read it after floating, it would probably all be contaminated. But anyway, you couldn't turn the pages. But if you could read it, if it floated up on an island, you can heal about 80 to 90% of your problems by just getting rid of emotions. So when I was doing the clearing on you, I'm rubbing my hands over my head like that. Dr. Bradley Nelson uses magnets, but he's also bald. I don't know if that caused him to go bald. I don't use magnets. But my body says if I were to continue using magnets over my head like this, he uses a magnet like that, I would probably go bald. So I don't use a magnet, but the good thing is your fingers are magnetized. But once you ask a question and you figure out what it is, usually it's an energetic clearing that it needs to be done. And you can ask the body with a muscle test, can I clear this? And I get a strong muscle test. That means you have permission from your body or from whatever you're getting the answers from. Dr. Bradley Nelson thinks it's your body. I think it's probably the collective unconsciousness or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I just clear it by rubbing my hands over my head. I just say, I'm clearing this, and I just have the intention, then I ask, is it gone? Once I get a strong muscle test, it's gone, it's gone. It never comes back. So I've had people where I've released 1 or 2 trapped emotions, and they've done, I'll give you an example. I had a lady who said, I want you to work on my daughter because my daughter is so fearful of everything. She won't go into the costumes, the Halloween costume aisle. She won't even go near the aisle because she's afraid of all the costumes. We have a basement in our house. We designed the basement so it would be the kids' play area so we can't hear them screaming. She won't go down in the basement by herself. She's so scared. So I said, okay, I'll try to, and I released a few trapped emotions. While she was at school, this daughter was about, I forget, it was like about 8 or 9 years old. She came home from school and she said, Mom, I'm not afraid of the basement anymore. And the daughter didn't even know I was working on her. So the good thing about working on pets or working on kids is they don't lie well. So I worked on pets where they pee in the house, and then I did a few trapped emotions and they stopped peeing in the house. Or I've had one dog who would just, anyone who comes in the house, they would try to hump the person's leg. And I released a couple trapped emotions and they stopped doing that. So that's the cool thing with working on pets or working on babies or working on kids is they can't lie to you. So if the dog stops humping someone's leg and you just release a few trapped emotions, it's like everyone's going, it's a miracle, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, we have at least one person there that's been waiting since before you got here to talk to you.
Cool.
I think they know you though, so
okay.
I don't know that this is Corey.
Corey.
So
yes, he called in a couple. Corey, good to hear from you. So what's one thing you want to work on today? We'll do a little healing on you, and maybe we'll do healing on all the callers with you.
Hey Tim, hang on 2 seconds. Corey, can you put a headset on or take yourself off speakerphone or whatever you got going on there? Because it's really bad reverb. Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, so Corey, just let me know one thing you want to work on.
I'm going to work on this judgment I have towards women that have like multiple kids from multiple men and just like, you know, this Catholic programming and stuff. And
okay. You want to work on issues with women who have multiple men, you said?
And so children from multiple men.
Okay.
Well, multiple kids from multiple men, like,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So first of all, Corey, everything that childbirth means to you and everything that child rearing and everything that sex means to you and everything related to sex means to you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha zillion?
Yes.
Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so for anyone else listening in, the good thing is if you say yes or think yes, or if you listen to the replay, if this is going to be on replay, and you say yes, whatever subconsciously comes up when I say the word sex, and that can be something for everyone, and sex is one of the most powerful words because it brings up all the shikyu, which is secret, hidden, invisible, covert, unseen, unheard, undisclosed. It's an acronym. I'm going to put it right here. Shikyu. Shikyu. You can do many U's on that. Anyway, secret, hidden, invisible, covert, unseen, unheard, undisclosed, unrecognized, whatever other you want to talk about. All the unknown things you feel when you see a person who has multiple kids or has kids from other men, or has had sex with more than one man, or everything sex brings up to you that's secret, hidden, that you can't even describe, and all the feelings you have. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all that times a Buddha zillion?
Yes.
Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. And everything sex with your parents means to you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. And everything sex with Jesus Christ means to you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. Everything sex means with your teachers at school, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha zillion?
Yeah, I don't go to school.
Okay, but all I'm doing is bringing up secret, hidden, because the truth is you've lived millions of lifetimes. So if you've lived millions of lifetimes, you've had sex with everyone. You've had sex with teachers, you've had sex with preachers, you've had sex with horses, you've had sex with donkeys, you've had sex with cows, you've had sex with kids, you've had sex with TV producers, you've had sex with movie engineers, you've had sex with kids' brothers and sisters. Okay, so the thing is, the word sex has so much hidden meaning to it that everything I'm trying to bring up for you is to clear out all the bullshit in your head around sex. So everything that brought up for you and all the other callers, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha zillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock. Yes, sex with shrimp too. Bubble gum shrimp. Okay, so the good thing is this word sex, and this is why on a lot of cult websites, Access Consciousness is one of them way up there, and that's why I love Access Consciousness, because I started my own cult. It's called the Cult of Love Bombing from Outer Dementia, and you can watch my videos. I am the founder of the Cult of Love Bombing of Outer Dementia. I'm not yet on the cult websites, but I will be on the cult websites very soon. The great thing is, everything that I can say negative to you will bring up negative energy, will help clear more. So the more shit I can say to you that will make you pissed off and make you angry at me and make you throw chairs, that the more I can do clearing for you. So my wife doesn't realize that's why I make her freak out and yell at me every day, because I'm doing...
Well, that's a handy excuse to...
Anyway, I'm joking. My healing radio call, I say it's the only that I know of comedy healing show on the internet. So Blog Talk Radio / Major Tim to Ground Control is where the comedy starts and ends in the blogosphere universe. Okay, so everything sex means to you and the Dragon King's daughter, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha zillion?
Just say yes, okay?
Just say yes.
Okay. Yes.
The good thing is so many people have had so much problem saying yes, and if you can just say yes, yes, give it to me, baby, give it to me, yes, 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 You're going to clear so much because that's what your body is screaming for, is just the yes. And that's why when people have sex, they say, yes, 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 because their body is screaming for the yes. Because everywhere in your life, your parents are saying, no, don't do that. Don't think about sex. Don't watch porn. Don't think about people who have had sex. Don't have sex with people who have had sex. Don't have sex until you're married. So everything you've been told in this reality, every projection, every conclusion, every concentricity, every linearity, every form, structure, significance, every expectation, I think I said that twice, judgment, that you've had around this issue of sex, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha-zillion?
Yes.
Okay. So, truth, would you have sex with Jesus Christ?
No.
Okay. So everything that wouldn't allow you to have sex with Jesus Christ, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
I guess.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, PUD and PUC short. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what my definition of sex is, because all of the shit that we just washed out for everyone on the call was all the bullshit lies that this reality tells you about sex. Sex and sexualness is the energy of living and the energy of creating. So when I create a song, I'm giving birth to a new reality that never existed on this planet. When I create a book, I'm giving birth to a new... So everywhere you have this feeling of sexualness is bad is where you're not willing to give birth to a new reality. You're not willing to co-create the reality that sexualness requires to co-create in this reality. You have to have sexualness. You have to have the living... What I'm doing right now, if you can watch me, I'm having sex with this fucking reality! So everything that you're not willing to... Everything you're not willing to do in this reality that requires you to be sexual, like I'm being sexual with you and everyone else, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha-zillion?
Yes.
Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, PUD and PUC, shorts, blows me on. And truth, would you have sex with Mother Teresa?
No.
Because she's dead? Why wouldn't you have sex with Mother Teresa?
I don't know.
Okay, so everywhere you've been entrained in this reality that having sex with someone who's dead is not a good thing, or someone who's old and wrinkly, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all times a Buddha-zillion?
Yes.
Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, PUD and PUC, shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, so everywhere you're not willing to receive is where you're not willing to have sex. So sexualness is actually the lowest harmonic in this reality of receiving. So if you're willing to be sexual and have sexualness with the co-creation of this reality with other people, that means you're willing to receive from them. So everywhere you're not willing to have sex, it doesn't mean you have to put two and two together and bump and grind. It means you have to be open to the energy that they're giving and you're receiving. So if you're not open to receiving the energy, the orgasmic energy of life, which is sexualness, then you're not willing to co-create a new reality that this whole planet is waiting to co-create with you. Because the lowest frequency on this harmonic plane is the act of bump and grind, that's sexualness. But the higher frequency of sexualness is the energy of co-creation, and we're co-creating. It's an act of sexualness. It's a rebirthing of a new reality that we're all doing. And everywhere you're saying no to that co-creation and to that the birthing of life, because birth is, you have so much negativity around this idea of birth that you can't imagine a woman being able to give birth to many other kids from other people, is because you're not willing to be able to open to the birthing that you can give to this reality and create a new reality. So everything that is and everything that brings up, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Okay, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, PUD and PUC, shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, we can go on for like 5 hours on this one subject.
And we don't have to, but I want to say something.
Okay.
Because it's just even the, now I'm going not a healer, okay?
Okay.
I am about to kick your ass, Corey. Is what I'm about to do. So you may need healing for your ass in a minute. But the way you even ask the question, okay? I would have been a lot happier if you said people who have multiple babies with multiple partners, because do you have a problem with men who have children with different women that they've been with? Corey? No, you don't. I already know the answer. So that you have to think about, please. You know what I mean? Why is it okay for men? You guys are all about to elect a guy called Donald Trump. I don't know how many people he has kids with. You know what I'm saying? So you have it in your mind that these women are whores or something like that. And so when a woman has had, babies with different partners, it doesn't make that on its own doesn't make a statement about that woman and who she is or how worthy she is, and so I just got the idea, just even the energy of the way you asked the question was that you would be okay with men who have babies with multiple partners, but you have a really bad idea about women who do. And maybe if you think about it in that way, that will also help you. But Tim has cleared you of all of this, and so now you won't have a problem with those women.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you that to chew on, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Corey, for calling, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good luck with all that. Good luck with all that sex you can start having now with everybody dead and alive.
I was a punk rocker back in the 80s, and there was a song by TSOL called I Wanna Fuck the Dead. It says, I wanna fuck the dead. It says, she's never on the rag or says, leave me alone. She doesn't moan or she doesn't groan. She doesn't even mind if I shoot in her hair. She just lies there and smiles and she stares.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my punk rock days. I'm not into that stuff. But anyway, the good thing is, I brought up a lot of Shikyu stuff, which is a lot of I was saying that sex is the lowest frequency of receiving, not of the lowest frequency on the planet. I meant to say of receiving, which means receiving is the energy like you're able to get from another person. It's like a sexual energy. The lowest frequency of that receiving is the copulation, but the higher frequency is just the oneness that we all truly be if we know who we truly are, which we're infinite beings from time without beginning. Which there's only one religion that talks about time without beginning, and we could talk about that religion because there's no other religion that talks about such an idea. All the other religions that I know of have a beginning, which Buddhism doesn't have a beginning and it doesn't have an end. Everything is secular, and it keeps going and going. It's infinity. It never started, never ended, never will. It always will be, and it always will be changing. The only thing is change. Cyclical. Thank you for spelling it.
Absolutely cyclical. Yeah. So now, if anybody else who's there
brave enough
called in, Dan was here earlier, and he's not here now. Unfortunately, we had one of our regular listeners called in the other night, and his wife has been re-diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer again, and so I had hoped that we would be able to get him to call in and talk with you, but he's not here. What would you say? Can you do any kind of a clearing now or
Definitely.
Any kind of a healing now that could be picked up by Dan's wife? Should she watch this later?
Definitely. So, awesome. The first thing I always do with my clients who have cancer is I usually ask them truth. Every time you say truth before you ask a question, the subconscious mind will only allow you to either say the truth or to say something that will allow the other person to know who said truth that you're lying. So it's good, under your breath you can say truth, but I always ask my client who has cancer, I say, truth, have you decided to die yet?
Right.
Because a lot of people have decided to die and they are using cancer as a way out. And either it's a way out of their marriage, or it's a way out of their job, or it's a way out of their wherever they're living, they don't want to live anymore, or whatever. So I usually ask that question. The first thing is, have you chose to die?
Right.
And if I ask the word truth before I say it, and they say no, I haven't decided to die, usually I can know that they've decided to die if there's lying to me, because how they say it. Just like you knew what he was talking about, and I could have went into that too, because I had the same point of view that I only wanted to have a relationship with a virgin when I was younger. And because I thought, people who slept around, men, yeah, I guess I didn't think men were problems, but women were. So I guess that's part of our culture. And one of my newest songs that I have a video out, it's called Her Story, not His Story, not History. So it's about witch burning, which I was a part of the witch burning era, although I was in England at the time.
Who's talking? Mary Margaret?
Mary Margaret.
Okay. Somebody called in and they got unmuted.
Okay. So anyway, so that's the first thing I have to find out. If they have chose to die, what I want to do is I want to rescind, recant, renounce, destroy, and uncreate all oaths, vows, commitments, fealties, communities, and other obligations they have to death, and to using death as a way out, because death is not a way out. So no matter how many times you kill yourself, there you are. You'll be born anew in life, and you'll go through the same shit you went through before because you haven't decided you're the infinite being.
Hang on. I muted the wrong anonymous.
Okay.
Okay. There's two anonymouses, and I muted us instead of them.
That's okay.
Good God. Okay. Start over with that about
Yeah, I usually ask them. So I'm just going to say this to everyone on the call who's using disease and any other illness as a way to check out of this reality because they don't want to be here for whatever reason. Would you be willing to and you're going to say yes for all of them. Would you be willing to rescind, recant, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all oaths, vows, commitments, fealties, and communities you have to using death or sickness as a way out and to killing yourself?
Yes, I'll say yes on behalf.
Yes, and it's going to clear for everyone who has this, and anyone says yes in the future, they're going to hear this, they're going to say yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys, beyond. Okay, so that's the first thing I have to do. Until I can get a strong muscle test that they're not willing to die, and if they are still using the dying program, then I do what's called exit stage left, which allows them to die quicker. So if I have a client who wants to die, I'll do exit stage left, and that is a clearing that allows them to die in peace. Because a lot of people want to die, and they're trying to use disease, and they're trying to use all this other stuff to kill themselves. And I just, if they want to die and I can't get them, I work for about a month or a half, and I can't get them to promise me that they're not trying to kill themselves, then I will do exit stage left, which allows them to die in peace, because they'll get rid of all their stories about having to live and having to kill themselves with disease, and they'll just check out.
Right.
Car? Okay, hold on, my wife. Oh, my key's beeping. Sorry, I brought my key up. My wife. I have a key, and my car's underneath where I'm sitting right now, and the alarm's beeping on and off because I have the key next to me.
Oh.
So I don't know with these new cars in Japan where you have a key that if you walk towards the car, the alarm goes, or it unlocks all the doors. If they live in a small house like I live in, underneath my room is my garage. So I have to put the key in another room down the hallway over there in order for my alarm not to go off all night. Okay, but anyway, we're talking about death and dying. So
Yeah.
I do recommend everyone read the last book of, what was her name? She wrote the book on death and dying. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Her last book, she goes into her mystical experiences and her channeling and she saves it to the last 4 chapters, and she starts going into, because she knew she was going to be dying, and she died after that. I think she died. It was her last book she ever wrote. She started talking about all the stuff she never talked about in the academic world, and it was really, really interesting because there's no way out. You can kill yourself 1,000,000 times, and there you are. So I don't know that I've killed myself ever before, but I tried to kill myself in 19...
Well, if you had sex with a shrimp and everything else, I'm sure you killed yourself at least once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and every
You're,
5
you're
seconds.
basically saying if you've lived a million lifetimes, you've done it all.
I've done it all.
Done it all.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, whether you kill yourself or you don't kill yourself, the physical body dies at some point, and there you are.
yeah.
And so you know what I mean?
But I'm starting to realize that the program of aging is actually an accepted reality that you can opt out of, which I'm starting to see because I went to my 10-year reunion about 20 years ago, and everyone was old, and I was like, who are all these old people? My 10-year high school reunion. My 30-year reunion is coming up, and I still, every year, they keep getting old, and I seem like I'm getting younger. So what I found out is one of the reasons why I found out that I was...
You're coming up on 50?
Well, yeah, I'm coming up on going to be 50 in 5 years. So,
Okay.
so anyway, most people think I'm 28, but I don't think I'm 28.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm not really 50. I'm not really 40 because when I was 2 years old, or when the kid was 2 years old, I saved him from getting hit by a truck, and I went under the car. So at that point, I didn't have the programming of this reality, which is most of it is in the third trimester in pregnancy is where you pick up all the I'm getting old, I'm getting fat, I'm getting all that stuff. So a lot of my relatives are fat. I'm not fat because I didn't pick up that program from my mom. So, but the thing is, whether you're a walk-in or not a walk-in, whether I'm a walk-in or not, I believe, my body believes I am. Whether I am or not, it doesn't really matter. But the good thing is, you can deactivate these programs of aging because they are programs. So whether we can live forever, I'm sure at one point if I live to be 100, I live to be 575, I'm gonna go, okay, I'm tired of fucking changing identities because I'm gonna have to hide from the secret police that tries to say, you can't be that old. We're gonna put you in a crazy home. We're gonna put you, So you're gonna have to be hiding from all these people that think this reality is not possible to live to 500. So you're gonna get tired of that after a while, and you're gonna go, okay, I'll just shut this program down and move to a new body. But anyway, until that happens, I don't know. But I think I'm about at least 40,000 years in the current manifestation I'm in now, because I was a walkout my last life. But anyway, that's a long story. But aging doesn't have to be. So I've seen people who looked super old with twin brothers and twin sisters, and one looks younger because they adopted a whole different way of thinking, and the other should be identical twins got really old because they bought into all the reality that tells them that every year you celebrate a birthday, you're going to get older, you're going to be able to hear less, you're going to be able to see less, you're going to be able to, have sex less, you're going to, you're not going to be able to get it up, it's going to get limp, all this stuff, it's not true. You can buy into that program and you can take Viagra, but you don't really need to. So, anyway, we're going off on a lot of tangents. We are going about cancer. Okay, so killing ourselves.
Well, no, wait a second.
Okay.
The woman wants to live. She survived her first diagnosis, and she's seeking all kinds of health and alternative health. She's not giving up, rolling over, or anything else like that. She wants to live. She is not looking to die, and so that's what I'm focusing on for her.
Okay, so then once I get past that point, I know they want to live, which is very few. So she might be one of the exceptions. So what I do then is I find out what is contributing to the cancer, and I start using one of the many charts I have. The body code is the most thorough chart, so I'm going to use it now on her behalf. I have the old and the new body codes. So there's some good things on the old one, and there's some on the 2.0, which is the new version. That's better, but I like the old one and the new one. So I have both of them open now on my computer, and I'm making a video behind me, so I'll put that on YouTube so people can see what I'm actually doing here, because you can't see it on the screen. I don't want to share a screen, it slows things down. So I ask on this chart here, is there something that's contributing to her production of cancer and cancer cells? Yes. Okay, the first thing is the energy. So, okay, the first thing is a trapped emotion, which is, as I say, it's 80 to 90% of all the things. So rejection. So the first trapped emotion is rejection. Do we need to know anything more about it? No. Does she have hundreds? Does she have thousands? Does she have millions? Does she have billions? These millions of trapped emotions of rejection, can we release them all at the same time? Yeah. Do we need to show anything more? We should go these from her body, mind, spirit, energy system, and wherever else they might be. Are these all gone? Yeah. Okay, is there anything else contributing? No. Okay, whether that's the only thing, we'll never know until we talk to her again or until we do another healing session on her. Does she, yeah, we could do more healing. Okay, some people's body will only allow one or two things at a time, and depending on, especially when we're on a healing call where there's more people's bodies working together. What I found on all of my healing calls is the healing can be exponentialized by the fact that there's other people listening in, because we actually are all co-creating this reality, and everyone listening in, whether you're listening in on the replay or you're listening in on wherever you're listening in, you're going to be contributing to her healing and multiplying the effect. So I'm going to go to the old body chart because the new one's not working. So she also has some nerve structural misalignments of the neck, cervical spinal cord. Is there an underlying reason for this nerve? No. Could I just realign it? Yeah, realigning all of the cervical and spinal cord nerves and just the cervical spinal cord nerve. Okay, is it now realigned? Yeah. Is there any other nerves that are misaligned? No. Does she have any other misalignments? Is there anything else on this old? I'm using the old one because now the new one's not wanting to. When I have too many programs open, the new one takes too many memories, so I use the old one. Okay, so she has some mental energies to release. No will to live. Okay, so this trapped energy of no will to live, it's not inherited, this is hers. So at some time in her life she could have said, I don't want to live. Whether she wants to live now, that trapped energy could be in her body, so until we release it, subconsciously, her body doesn't want to live because she has the program. So do we need to know anything more about this no? No, can we release it? Is there hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions? These billions of no will to live energies, can we release them all at the same time? Yeah, do we need to know anything more? We should call these from her body, mind, spirit, energy system, and wherever else they might be. Are these all going? Yeah, does she have any other ones? No. Is there anything else on this body code chart that she needs to work on? Yeah, she needs herbs. Okay. Can I download?
She's on that.
Okay.
She's doing all that.
Her body says corn silk. Can I download corn silk for her? Yeah. Okay, downloading all the corn silk from the matrix field into her body, mind, spirit, energy system, and wherever else she needs it. I had another healer come on to... Every time I've had a new healer come onto my radio show, I downloaded right away their whole healing modality. That's why I have all these unnamed ones, because I don't want to name them.
You're a thief, eh?
Yes. I steal from
you asked for permission.
No, I'm here to I'm the bull in a china shop in this matrix field because I'm here to recreate a new reality. So I have to download and upload everything because my body is, actually your body, everyone's body is constantly doing what's called...
You can have mine, buddy.
Yeah, my body is your body.
You download from me, man. You think you got problems now. Okay, so back to that lady, and then I have someone else that's listening in, and he's due for surgery tomorrow. So okay. I want to get on to him.
Okay, we're gonna do one last thing on the cancer on her body. So the corn silk, she has enough corn silk now, but taking it might help. I don't even know what corn silk is and what it does because I've never had actually that come up. This body code chart has so many different things. So chakras, her chakras imbalanced or misaligned or something. It's a solar plexus. Is there an underlying reason? No. Could we just realign it and reboot it? Yeah. Rebooting and realigning her whole solar plexus chakra and allowing it to oscillate. I don't know why that word came to me, oscillate. It's oscillating now. I've never had it described as oscillation, but that's the picture that came to my mind when I saw it move again. So it's... Oh, that's what it was. Okay, it was going counterclockwise and it wanted to go clockwise. Okay, so now it's going clockwise. Is there something else we need to do about it? No. And I never had that come up. The coolest thing is when I'm on a radio call, that's where a lot of the healing modalities that I don't yet name come up, because I pick up energies that are not normally described. So I have to change my definitions of what I do. And all definitions and all words are limitations, so I try not to define what I do because it will limit its ability to be infinite. And even when I say I'm a walk-in, that's a limitation because I'm probably more than that. I'm everything and everyone, and multi-orgasmic. Oh, no, I'm a. Anyway, I don't have words for it. It's beyond words. I'm just. I is that I always is. I am that I am. I be that I be. Whatever you want to say. Beyond words. Yes, thank you. Okay, so is that no? Let's just do one more thing on the cancer. Whether it'll go away now, who knows? Some people take many sessions. I haven't. We got to do something more with the cervical spinal cord. There's some trapped emotions there. Okay. Trapped emotions of grief. Do we need to know anything more about it? Does she have hundreds? Does she have thousands? Does she have millions, billions? And this were all these were when her cervical spinal cord column was being produced in her second or first trimester in the womb, was when this grief was picked up from her dad. So, and it's inherited, so it goes back many generations, thousands of generations, millions of generations, billions of generations, trillions of generations. These millions of generations can I release it from everybody. I release it from her and her dad and her grandpa and her great-grandmother's great-grandmothers all the way back to wherever it came from. Is this all gone? Yeah. Is there anything else? No. Is her cervical spinal cord happy now? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to just leave it at that now, but I hope in the future she calls into my show, and if she notices any shift, which she probably will, she'll at least know there's a doorway out of this, and I'll hopefully allow her to open the doorway. So let's take a caller instead.
Okay. Well, Donald isn't on the phone.
Okay.
When you were saying how you were all this and all that and everything, you're not just a walk-in, I wanted to do this. So there we go. Now, Donald is in the hospital right now. He's been in the hospital for a few weeks. He's waiting for surgery that's supposed to happen tomorrow. And he is going to have a triple bypass tomorrow. In addition to that, he has, they say, COPD and a problem with the kidney that they've discovered through all of this as well. So whatever healing you can provide or thoughts you can give to him and transmit right now, he's listening, and that would be great.
Okay, the first thing that you're going to work as surrogate for him. You're going to say yes for him. We're going to do some access clearing. Okay, this is one of the weirdest ones, and I always get so much flack because I give away too much.
This is the guy. This is your cousin, the guy with the lesbian shirt. Just so you know, okay?
Yeah.
So Donald, okay?
So I am a lesbian in a man's body. I knew that before I knew I was a walk-in. So anyway, I'll claim, own, and acknowledge my lesbian in a man's body before I'll fully claim, own, and acknowledge the walk-in that I might be. Okay, and the fact that I might be Sir Francis Bacon. But anyway, there's access clearing. One second, I got to pull up this one because it's a long one. It's called the Universal Surrogate Program, which a lot of people on this planet are running. And no one's going to understand the wording of this, and it's fine because your subconscious mind will understand. But the more if you're still running it after this call, you can go back and listen again and say yes again and again and again, and it'll clear more. And basically, it's implants. Implants are put in your physical body. Explants are put in your energy bodies, or your Bechamex, which is a combination of all your physical and spiritual bodies. This one's both implanted and explanted in all those. So it's kind of hard to get rid of unless we run this thing a lot of times, and sometimes it only takes one time. So I'm going to run it one time, and I got to find it programmed. Okay, it's a long one, so I'm bringing it up on my computer. There it is. The Universal Surrogate Program. And I'm asking you to be surrogate for him and say yes. And even though surrogateness is good and bad, if you're giving birth to a child, a surrogate's good to have. If you can't give birth and you need to put your sperm in another person's body. But the surrogate that people are trying to be on this reality is to take on all the shit from everyone else's, all the shit that they're choosing and trying to heal it in your body because you think you're so great that you need to heal everyone else. Anyway, it's a subconsciously it's a superiority complex. So I'm going to say this and no one's going to understand what I said, but I'm going to ask you to say yes for him. What are you unwilling to perceive, know, be, and receive about creating reality with the binary encodings and the inclusions of the languages of never perceiving, knowing, being, receiving, claiming, owning, and acknowledging the infinite limitations, liabilities, and destructions that the form, structure, and significances that represent the double binds and the reverse double binding systems, known and unknown, that you have maintaining the universal surrogate program and everything they represent to and as you truly are is, as the all-encompassing, labyrinthal, kaleidoscopic, triangulational, and quantum creation of the universal panoplies of realities and the causal effect systems thereof, that if you were willing would destroy all other realities and non-realities and manifest as total consciousness. Everything that brings up times a Buddha-zillion through all time, spaces, dimensions, and realities, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all now?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyonds. No, we need to run. Okay, there's one other one that's like it, but it's called the FAT program. It's PHAT. And FAT stands for the Program of Human Approximation Terminus. And I'm going to just pull it up. Do you know the difference between a human and a humanoid based on access consciousness? Have you ever heard of that idea?
Yes.
Okay, so most of the people calling into shows like this are humanoids, which humanoids are like horses who are trying to wear a cow costume because everyone on this planet is a cow, and you're trying to fit into this reality by wearing a cow costume, but you're not a freaking cow, you're a horse. So if you... 13 songs.
You better give
I have to give you credit.
Mister.
Okay.
Hey, don't be stealing shit from me, okay? I'm just teasing.
I steal from the best.
And so, okay, good luck, and hopefully everything works out good for you there.
Okay.
Tim, thanks, Tim.
Take care. It was so great. I'll be back. I'll be back no matter what. Peace out.
Well,